Thank you, Richard. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to y'all. It's an honor. I can't say enough good things about the service clubs. They play such an important part in our community. The values, the good works you do help build a good community. So thank you. For someone who's responsible to try to make things work in the city, knowing that you're out there is real important. And I'm thrilled that you're here. Brogue's is a great restaurant. We have a lot of great businesses in Lake Worth. There's a lot of cool things happening and wonderful things. As Richard said, I've been here a year. Not that I'm counting the days. And I came over, I worked in Lantana for 12 years prior. So unlike a lot of the people who applied for this job, I really knew what I was getting into. And knew a lot of the people, and I'm thrilled to be here. I'm just as excited, if not more, after spending a year. Today I guess you can call my rambling talk, sort of a good news, bad news, good news. So I don't want anybody to get depressed in the middle. If you look at some of the things that are happening in the city, you know, how many of y'all been down to the new casino and the beach project? With the exception of a few glitches in the parking, most everybody are very excited. They speak very highly of the project. It's a big success for the city. It's something that we've talked about for years, and we've actually pulled it off. We're still working through some details, but all in all, if you've been over there, it's really impressive, and people around the county are talking about it. We have people actually coming from foreign countries to do events in the ballroom. We had a wedding. It was amazing from overseas because they had seen this place. So our reputation is growing there. It's been a major project. Our golf course, if you haven't played on our golf course in a while, we've gone through some changes there. We actually invested in new greens. If you played before, the greens are pretty slow and old. We've got new ones, and I encourage you to go out and try out our golf course. Where else can you play on the Intercoastal with such a beautiful view? I mean, just an incredible amenity. Our parks, there's some things happening right around there with the Snook Islands that we're partnering with the county, new boat ramps, and we're even talking about maybe some day docks there in the future. If you come through the whole city, you can see we have quite a bit of a nightlife and a vibe here with the Cultural Council, which if you don't know about them, they located in the old theater across from Starbucks in that area. And that's the county-wide group that really coordinates some big money efforts involving culture, some big name donors. And they're here in Lake Worth. And we like to tout ourselves as being the center cultural capital of the county. And we're really turning that into something. As a matter of fact, we talk about the arts being one of our industry clusters that we're building around. And we're very proud of that. So all in all, we're really doing some wonderful things in the city. We had some great news the other day that our property values may actually be going up. We heard from the property appraiser after several years of them going down to where they were half of what they were at the height. We may be going up 4.2%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but we'll take it. So some positive things. We have a good dynamic group of leaders in the city. I've been very fortunate with this commission, all of them, the mayor and the commissioners. They're very interested in looking at the city with a good eye and trying to figure out what it is we need to do and how to take that action. And they're not afraid to delve into some tough issues. Last night was our commission meeting. I'll give you an example. We had gotten the commission meetings down to where we were getting out by 8:30, and we were doing probably 2 to 3 times the work that was previously done when they would go to 2 in the morning. One meeting we were revamping code enforcement laws, and we ended up passing 12 ordinances in one night. That's just unheard of. The commission's well prepared. They're asking good questions. There's debate, and then they vote, and then we go forward and implement. Last night was kind of difficult. We got out, I think, about a little bit before 12, but we did some really tough issues we dealt with that had been standing around a long time. So they're being very productive. So when you look at what's happening in the city, you can see that there's some really incredible movement and things are going forward. But it would be disingenuous for me to come up here and say everything's wonderful in this city, because the fact is, the indicators show it's still very unhealthy. And we need to be honest about that, and we're trying our best to get the message out there that don't be confused. We're sending mixed signals. Because we have a beachfront success, we can't take our eye off of the true problems. Let me give you a couple of examples. I told you our property values had dropped in half. We're a 7 square mile city next to Palm Beach. That's $10. We do that in the commission meetings. Scott Maxwell seems to pay the most. For a city that's located where we are, with the tremendous amenities we have, our property taxes generate $5.3 million, is all. That tells you how tremendously undervalued the city is. Our schools are not performing like they should. We have a lot of kids, 68 to 92% of the different schools, the populations are on reduced or free lunches. Our high school, the SAT average in 2011 was 791. You can't get into college with that. And that's an average school. I'm sure there's always examples of somebody doing well. When it comes to poverty rates, this city is just ahead of Brogue Lake, but behind Riviera Beach. We're 3 times the national average in poverty rates. So there's some fundamental things in this city that are broken, that haven't been addressed. And our job is this last year is to really take an assessment of what we see in this city, both in the city government organization and the city at large when we talk about Lake Worth. Be honest about our condition. Don't want any delusional behaviors, And then how do we go forward? And that's what's been really a big enjoyable part of my being here, has been working with the community and with the elected officials to stop talking about symptoms and talking about what the problems are. You can't waste your time constantly trying to, patch this over here and say you're done when you haven't solved the underlying fundamental problems. So, what are those underlying fundamental problems? Well, there's an assumption that the city can fix the city. I can tell you, I cannot hire enough staff. I do not have enough staff now because of the cuts that have had to occur. I can't write enough laws, and I can't come up with enough programs to save this city. And if you expect that, or any citizen expects that, they're barking up the wrong tree. They're talking about symptoms. What can fix this city is private sector investment. It's families moving here, it's people building homes, it's businesses and it's jobs. And what's really cool is, because we do have such a tremendous city with great amenities, and because we are so highly undervalued in land, if we remove the disincentives to that investment, the investment will flow in. Now, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about when I say the disincentives. What's holding back people from moving here? Some of y'all living in Atlantis, you might have moved, and you might never consider living in Lake Worth. Think about what those disincentives are. Well, one of the biggest ones we've had to grapple with is electric rates. I've heard so many times over the years I've lived here, I'm not moving in there. Their utility rates are crazy.
That's true.
And it's really crazy on the commercial end, the difference between our surrounding market. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm out trying to recruit some industry to bring jobs here, and they say, well, if I'm out here, I'm in FP&L, my rates are cheaper, but if I move into your city, what are you going to do for me because our rates are going to be through the roof? That's a major disincentive. It happens on the family level. People won't lease properties because they'll ask that question. Got to remove that disincentive. We are actively working in a couple of areas with the electric utility. It's our commitment, and there's going to be an ordinance passed by this city commission that says within 5 years, no more than 5 years, we will go to rate parity with the surrounding market. How we get there, that's my job to figure that out. And that's going to be a balancing act between weaning the general fund, which gets subsidized off of the electric rates, and creating more efficient operations to get those rates down. And we're going to try our best, but they're going to put it in the ordinance. I'm going to have to do it. We also are doing a 5-year plan to look at a couple of things. We need to compare and be honest, not be afraid of these issues. What would a long range contract for services to supply us for electricity would be? What would it be if we built a new power plant to go with the ownership we have in St. Lucie Nuclear and Stanton, where we get our electricity from, so we have a new power plant, and value the system so that we can put it out on the market and see if anybody will buy it from us. That's the first time I believe we've gotten to the point where we're honestly and openly going through that process. And you know what? Our goal as staff, and my goal as the city manager, is to give the commissioners and the owners, the citizens of this city, the best options. So if we sell, I'm going to make sure we've got an asset that draws the highest price possible in the deal. so that we walk away with as much